Hello and welcome back to my channel. Once again, this is your man Alan, and today we shall be looking at percentages 2, which is the same as business mathematics. In other books, it is referred to as commercial mathematics. This topic is going to help us in dealing with our businesses, in calculating for the profit you have to make, in calculating for the loss you have to make, in calculating for the interest, both compounding and simple interest, and how you have to calculate or share your profit when you get into partnership with other somebody. And so what is percentages? Let's look at percentages. So a percentage is a fraction with the denominator as 100. Thus, if we have x percent, is the same as x over 100. So any value expressed as the number over 100, then we refer to as a percentage. So if they're giving you any percentage and ask you change it into fraction, just pick that percentage all over 100. And a fraction may also be expressed as a percentage by multiplied by 100. Remember, we want to change percentage to fraction, we divide it by 100. And so if you also want to change fraction to percentage, we multiply it by 100. So let's take an example. If I want to change 2 on 5 to percentage, I just multiply it by 100. So 2 on 5 multiplied by 100, and that's going to give me 40%. Let's take example 2. If I have 3 on 4, in percentage is 3 over 4 times 100, where we have a common factor as 4. 4 can go into self 1, and 4 can go into 100 25 times. So 25 times 3 is going to give me 75%. Right. So what if we look at percentage increase and percentage decrease? Percentage increase and percentage decrease. In solving problems which involve increase or decrease of quantity by a certain percentage, we take the original to be 100, except otherwise stated. So every percentage increase of a particular quantity, the original quantity is assumed to be 100%, unless the question specifies that it is a different percentage. If not, the original percentage we take for that original quantity before the increase or the decrease is always 100%. So that's to increase a quantity by x means the quantity is multiplied by 100 plus x over 100. So the original quantity here is 100 plus the increase. So they said x percent. So just add the x to the 100 and divide by 100. And that's the percentage increase you are adding to it. Similarly, to decrease a quantity by x, the original quantity is 100%, so you are decreasing it by x, which means that we just minus the x from the 100, and then you're gonna go over 100. Example. So if I have the cost of the car was increased by 20%, what is the new cost of the car if the original cost was 20,000 Ghana cedis? So the original cost was 20,000 Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to 100%. Now the cost of the car has been increased by 20%. So it means that we are going to add this 20% to the 100%, which the original cost of the car, just as 100 plus x, and x here is what? 20%, all over 100. And now we multiply it by the quantity, and the quantity here is 20,000 Ghana cedis. And so the result is the original cost of the car is 20,000 Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to 100%. The new price is now 100 plus x, which means the new cost will be 100 plus 20 all on 100 multiplied by the original quantity. So that's why we say that you decrease or increase a particular quantity by another percentage by multiplying the quantity by 100 plus x on 100 or 100 minus x on 100. And so when you do that, your result is going to be 24,000 Ghana cedis. Alright, so we want to look at the percentage decrease. So we have an example. Decrease 150 by 20%. So here there's a decrease, and the original quantity percentage for 150 is 100, and so this 100 is also decreased by 20%. So I decide to subtract 20% from 100, and you're going to get what? 80. And this 80 is divided by 100 and multiplied by 150. So the quantity is multiplied by 100 minus 20 over 100. Multiplying by that, you get that. And then your result is going to be 120 Ghana cedis. Sorry, it's not in Ghana cedis, but the quantity is not having a unit, so 120. Let's look at profit and loss. After we have looked at percentage increase or percentage decrease. So any percentage increase or percentage decrease, you are going to follow the same procedure we have used to solve the other one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Hit the notification button so you'll not be left out when I release any video. Please do me a favor by subscribing to the channel. Now, when we talk about profit and loss, imagine you have gone to start a particular business. You bought an iPhone for 10,000 Ghana cedis, and you decide to sell that iPhone for 10,500 Ghana cedis. You realize that when you come back, you remove the cost of the phone from what you have sold. So if you remove your 10,000 Ghana cedis, your 500 Ghana cedis becomes your profit. But if you have sold the phone less than the 10,000 Ghana cedis, you have made a loss. So let's look at what it is. So profit or loss is equal to the selling price minus the cost price. So how much you sold the item minus the cost price, it will give you either the profit or the loss. So if your selling price is higher than the cost price, then you're going to get profit. But if the selling price is less than the cost price, you are going to get what? Loss. All right. On the other hand, we are saying that if the selling price is greater than the cost price, there's a profit. But if it is less than the cost price, you get a loss. Now, they can also ask you to express the profit you have gotten in percentage. And we said that in getting percentage of any fraction, you multiply it by 100. So you get the profit over the total cost multiplied by 100. So the fraction of the profit is the profit over the cost price. That's the fraction. Now multiply that fraction by 100, you are going to get the profit percent. Likewise, if you want to get the loss percent, so you pick the loss over the cost price multiplied by 100, and you're going to get the loss percent. Now let's pick an example. Example 1. Alam sold his new laptop for 5,000 Ghana cedis, which he bought at 4,500 Ghana cedis. So we want to find the profit and the profit percent. So there are two questions in this one. And also we want to find the loss and the loss percent Alan made if he had sold the laptop for 3,500 Ghana cedis. So let's look at the A. We know that profit is equal to selling price minus cost price. So he sold the laptop in the question. He said that he sold his new laptop for 5,000 Ghana cedis, but he bought the laptop for 4,500 Ghana cedis. So it means that the selling price is 5,000 and the cost of the laptop was 4,500 Ghana cedis. So to get the profit, we take the cost price out of the selling price. So selling price minus cost price, giving you the profit. Now we have gotten the first part of the question, that's the profit. Now we want to look at the profit percent, and we have said that the profit percent is you take the profit over the cost price multiplied by 100. So you take the profit over the cost price multiplied by 100. So our profit in the A we have found is 500, all on the cost price, which is 4,500 multiplied by 100, and you're going to get 11.11%. Now the loss price, the loss we have gotten in the next question, that's B, is cost price minus selling price, which means that the selling price is less than the cost price. So that's why we have to take the cost price minus the selling price. So we'll get a positive answer. So because if you take the selling price minus the cost price, you're going to get a negative answer, which is still referring to as what? A loss. Okay. So selling price is 33,500 Ghana cedis as stated in the B part of the question. And then the cost price was 4,500. So you are definitely going to make a loss of 1,000 Ghana cedis. It's made a loss of 1,000 Ghana cedis. So we want to get the loss percent. You take the 1,000 Ghana cedis over the cost multiplied by 100. You're going to get 22.22%, 22.22%, and that is your loss percent. All right, let's continue. We want to look at the simple interest. Simple interest is more or less like the profit you have gotten on your capital or whatever you have started with. But the simple interest, actually, we want to look at, you have invested a money in your bank in a particular time of the year, whether 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. How much are you going to accrue? How much are you going to get from what you have invested as simple interest? And so the formula is given as, you have to get your principal, the amount you are going to invest, and the time. How long are you going to put the money in the bank, or how long are you going to invest the money in the particular business you are doing, and what is the rate of the interest? What is the rate of the interest? So we can abbreviate them as the P, T, and R. Now, after the end of the time, it is 3 years. At the end of the 3 years, for you to get the amount you pick from the bank or whatever you have invested it, the total amount will be the principal plus your interest. So your interest alone is I, and the original amount you deposited was P, principal. So you add the two of them, then you pick it. Hope you are getting that. So you go to the bank, you pick the interest plus your principal. You don't go and pick the principal and leave the interest, because you wanted the interest. That's why you invested it. And so when you go to pick, you pick everything. So when the question asks you, how much will you pick at the end of the month? How much did the investor receive at the end of the year? At the end of the 3 years? At the end of the 4 years? At the end of the investment period? You pick your principal plus the interest, and that is the amount you receive. But if the question asks you, what is the interest at the end of the 3 years? You are only looking for the I, the interest. So you are not interested in the principal. All right, example 1. A man deposited a sum of 2,500 Ghana cedis into his saving account. This is the amount he deposited. If simple interest is paid at the rate of 8% per annum, how much is due him at the end of 3 years? So here, the man deposited 2,500 and the rate R is 8% per annum. Per annum here means that every 1 year, a year. So, and he is investing it for 3 years. So the time is 3 years. So every year he gets 8% for 3 years. And according to the interest formula here, we say principal times the time times the rate, all on 100. So our solution will be, so we'll get our principal already. You write out the rate and the time, then you code your formula. Principal times rate times time, all on 100. So the principal here is 2,500 times 8%, which is our rate, multiplied by the number of years, divided by 100. Note that the 100 here is because of this 8%, so you don't put the percent here again. The 100 here is because of the 8 here. So we said that in expressing any percentage in fraction is out of 100. So that's why you have 8 over 100 multiplying by 2,500 times 3 multiplied by 8 over 100, and you are going to get this. That is where that 100 is coming from. It's because of the rate. That's why the 100 is there. All right. So when you do that, your result is going to be 600 Ghana cedis. So it means that at the end of the 3 years, the man is going to make a profit of 600 Ghana cedis. 600 Ghana cedis. So how much will he receive at the end of the 3 years? The amount he receives is, you pick the principal. He saved 2,500 in the bank earlier, and the interest he has made is 600 Ghana cedis. So you add the two of them to get the amount he will go to pick from the bank, 3,100 Ghana cedis. Now, when you look at compounding interest, so the simple interest is accrued once the period of time you are doing it, but the compounding interest is such that you make simple interest for every year. So just like the example we just looked at, after the man has received the 3,100, he decides to invest the money again. So your capital keeps on increasing, your principal keeps on increasing every year. So we say that the interest is being compounded. The interest is being compounded. So when the interest is being compounded, the amount is given by A equal to principal multiplying by 1 plus the rate on 100 raised to the power the number of years, the time. So where the compound interest you get is A minus P. So remember, the total amount at the end of the period is A. So if you want to get only the compound interest, you take the principal out of the amount you accrued, then you're going to get the interest. Principal, time, rate, amount. Now we're going to example. Find to the nearest Ghana cedis the compound interest on 350 Ghana cedis in 3 years at 7% per annum. A man, you have deposited 350 Ghana cedis in the bank for 3 years, and then the rate is 7% per annum. So every year the rate of the interest is 7%. So you calculate for the simple interest for the 1 year per annum, 1 year. Then the next year, your principal is going to be added to the interest, or your interest is going to be added to your principal and reinvested again. So your principal is going to increase for the next year in that order. So let's take the solution. So note that in compound interest, the A is amount and the P is the principal, 1 plus rate over 100 times the time. And in the question, the principal was 350 Ghana cedis, and the rate was 7% per annum, and the period is 3 years. So we just key it inside. So 7 on 100 is going to give you 0.07 all to the power 3. When you do it just to it by using your calculator, your compounded interest plus the principal is 429 Ghana cedis. Remember, this formula just gets you the total amount you are supposed to pick from the bank straight away. So it means that this answer, your compounded interest is there and your principal is also part of it. So now if I want to get only the interest, I will take the amount, this one, minus the principal. So the principal is part of this and the interest is also part of that. So when you subtract it, you are going to get 79 Ghana cedis as your compounded interest. So the interest alone is 79 Ghana cedis for the 3 years. Remember, every year the interest keeps on increasing. So the interest is not regular, just like the simple interest we looked at. That one was regular, but this one is not regular. So every year the interest keeps on increasing, just as your principal keeps on increasing, because every year after you get the interest, you add the interest back to your principal to get a new principal, then you invest it again. All right, so let's take an alternative way of solving this question so that you get it very clear. So this is the short form using the formula, and mostly this one, when you're using objective, you can easily use this, or when you are running out of time in the examination hall for the theory sake, you can use this. Apart from that, use it in the objective. Alternatively, principal for the first year is 350 Ghana cedis, and the rate is 7%. So the simple interest, as we know, is principal times time times rate, all on 100. And so I find the interest for the first year, which is 24.50 Ghana cedis. Principal for second year. So the principal for the second year, after the first year, this is the interest you get. So the principal for the second year is going to be your interest plus your original principal for the first year, because you when you go to the bank to pick the money, you pick the principal plus the interest you made, but you are not sending home, you are reinvesting it. So the principal for the second year will rather be your original principal plus the interest you made to get the new investment money. So the new principal is this for the second year. So the second year you're going to invest 374.5 Ghana cedis inside there. You get that? So your principal is now this multiplied by the same rate for every year, another 1 year. So it means that we are going to calculate it 1 year, all the 3 years. So because it's 3 years. All right. And so the interest for this principal for the 1 year is 26.22 Ghana cedis. Now I want to get the interest for the third year. So it means I have to pick my original principal, which is this, plus 26.22 Ghana cedis, and I'll get the principal for the third year. So principal plus my interest, I pick it, I reinvest it. So I'm going to reinvest 400.72 Ghana cedis, and I'm going to get an interest of 28.05 Ghana cedis. Therefore, the compound interest for the 3 years is, so you add all the interest for the 3 years. So the first year is this, the second year is that, the third year is, so the second year is rather 26.22, and the final year is 28.05. So you add all this and you get the compound interest for all. Remember, the question says run to the nearest Ghana cedi. So you run it to the nearest Ghana cedi, you get 79 Ghana cedis. So it means that when you use that formula, it's going to give you an answer straight away, the total amount accrued. So if I had added this money to this, if you add the 28.05 to 400.72 Ghana cedis, you are going to get the one we got earlier when you just use the formula. And now you can now subtract the original principal from it to get your compounded interest. Hope this is helpful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I beg. Subscribe also. And then we continue. Let's now take one preliminary question. It is very beautiful question. It says that two friends, Alam and Jill, entered into a business partnership. Alam contributed 3,700 Ghana cedis and Jill contributed 6,300 Ghana cedis. At the end of the year, they made a profit of 65% of their total contribution. So the total contribution you have to get, and the profit made out of it is the 65%. Now they decided that they will save 7% of the profit as educational levy, and then 18% of the remaining profit, after they've given some of the profit to the educational levy, they also saved 18% as their reserve fund. If they said the remaining profit in the ratio of their contribution, want to find the amount they paid as educational levy, the amount received by each partner as a share of the profit, and then Joe's share of the profit as percentage of his contribution. As percentage of what? His contribution, not the total outcome. but his own contribution. Now let's take the solution. We realize that Alam's contribution was 3,700 Ghana cedis. Joe's contribution was 6,300 Ghana cedis. And then their total contribution is 10,000 Ghana cedis. And out of this 10,000 Ghana cedis, they made a profit of 65%. So 65 out of 100. So 65% means 60 over 100. Multiplying by what? The total amount they got out of their contribution. So it's 10,000. So you're gonna get 100 is a factor into itself 1, and 100 into 10,000 you get 100. So multiplying 65 by 100, you're going to get 6,500 Ghana cedis as the profit. So the profit made out of the 10,000 Ghana cedis, which is 65%, is 6,500 Ghana cedis. Now, out of this profit, some was paid as educational levy, 7%. So 7 over 100 multiplied by the profit. So 7% of the profit. Of means multiplication. So 7% we know is 7 over 100 of the profit. So the profit is 6,500. So 7% is 7 over 100 of, and the of is times. When looking at both mass of O multiplied by 6,500. So this is the amount paid to the educational levy. 455 Ghana cedi was paid as educational levy. Now the remaining profit after this was paid. So you take this out of the profit. So you take the 455 out of the total profit, and you're going to get 6,045. The remaining, and this remaining was also paid as reserve fund, 18%. So 18% means 18 over 100 multiplied by the remaining profit. Get that? After you have paid the educational levy, your profit reduced totally. Get it? So you take the amount you remove from the profit and pay to the educational levy. What is left? You take 18% of it. So 18% of the amount that is left, and now you pay that one to as your reserve fund. So it means that 18% of 6,045 is 1,088.10 Ghana cedis. So this is the amount going to be paid as a reserve fund. And now to answer the questions, the remaining amount after he has paid the reserve fund is we also take the remaining minus the amount he paid for the reserve fund. So it means that what is now left is 4,956.90 Ghana cedis. Now the question says that they shared this the final remaining in the ratio of their contribution. So we want to get how much did Alam contributed is to the amount Joe contributed. We know Alam contributed 3,700 Ghana cedis, and then Joe contributed 6,300 Ghana cedis. So their ratio, we can get a common factor, which is 100. 700 can go into 3,700 and then can go to 6,300, and you get 37 is to 63 as their ratio. Now we get a total ratio to be 37 plus 63, and that's going to give you 100. Now how much did Alam receive of the remaining profit? So 37 over the total ratio. So we're going to get the proportion of somebody's share. You pick the contribution or the ratio of that particular person all on the total ratio multiplied by the amount they are going to share. So here the remaining amount they are going to share now is 4,956.90 Ghana cedis. So we pick 37, which is Alam's contribution, all on the total ratio multiplied by that amount. We are going to get 1,834.05 Ghana cedis as Alam's share of the remaining profit. Now Joe's share of the remaining profit is going to be the amount that is left. So after you have given some to Alam, then the rest are left is for Joe. So that's why we have to take this 1,834.05 out of the remaining profit, and you're going to get 3,122.85 Ghana cedis. So that's what is given to Joe. Note, you realize that if you don't get Alam's share to be less than Joe's share, you should suspect your answer, because the contribution is not the same. Alam contributed only 37, and then Joe contributed 63. So expect that Joe's share should be greater than Alam's share. Alright, one way you can also get the Joe share is just to pick his ratio or his proportion all on the total. So we get 63 all on 100 multiplied by this same amount, and you are going to get the same result. You can try that and see. Alright, so we answer the question. So Joe's share of the profit as a percentage of his contribution. Joe's shares of the profit. We know he had the profit of, this is the profit of Joe, the share. All on his contribution was what? 6,300. So his share of the profit as a percentage of his contribution. So the fraction of his profit as a percent as his contribution is the profit all on the contribution. Now I want to get the percentage, you multiply by 100. So in getting percentage of any fraction, we said multiply by 100. So after multiplying it, you realize that Joe received 49.57% of the profit. That's his percentage he has received. Alright, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel, and then hit the notification button so that you'll not be left out when I release any other new video. Share to bless a friend. Thank you.